Over the last few months, I've spoken a lot about things like multimodal UI, AI native design, and even the fundamentals of automotive interfaces. The commonality across all of them is the need to see around corners. So what happens when we apply that same thinking to websites, apps, and the things we use every day? First, let's look back before we look forward. There have been countless trends over the years, but for simplicity's sake, let's focus on three, and let's start with skeuomorphism. A response to us entering the digital world from the physical, it made use of real-world metaphors to aid adoption. The reaction to that was the great reset of reductive design. Heavily influenced by a similar one in the 1960s, it leaned into minimalistic forms. Fast forward a decade, and we're beginning to see the signs of something more human, more real emerging. We're entering an era of resonance. Great digital experiences are now table stakes. Users crave intuition and emotional fidelity. The layouts that we use every day, the navigation patterns, they've been solved. The next step is to weave humanity back into pixels, pairing minimal clarity with texture and nuance that better express intent. This isn't a retreat to skeuomorphism, mind you. We're not going back. We're going forward towards interfaces tuned to human need rather than pure functional minimalism. Here are the three trends that I believe hint at this change and ultimately hint at something that will really redefine our relationship with technology. First is physicality, and it's about designing with tactile intent. As digital interfaces evolve, there's a resurgence of physical presence in UI design. This trend emphasizes tactile elements, depth, materiality, moving away from flat designs to more tangible interactions that might even react to your surroundings. But also it bridges the gap between digital and physical worlds, which make those interactions more intuitive and satisfying. A couple of examples. Airbnb has done this with their app recently, I think unevenly. Apple has done this with OS 26 with its glass design language. There's some accessibility issues there, but it's interesting. Ultimately, this has to be executed holistically and when and where it serves a purpose. Number two is multimodality, and this is about embracing diverse interaction models. I've talked about this before, and I believe it is the future of UI design. Multimodal interfaces support various interaction methods like voice, touch, gesture, and even gaze. Such interfaces provide users with more natural and flexible ways to interact with technology, enhancing accessibility and satisfaction. By accommodating different user preferences and contexts, multimodal ensures more inclusive and adaptable digital experiences. Some examples, NIO's Nomi AI-powered interface in its cars is really, really interesting. I've talked about it before, but BMW's forthcoming autonomous driving experience is also really interesting. It uses a driver's glance coupled with light steering inputs to initiate automatic lane change, all while visually communicating the move. Finally, three is calm, and this is about minimizing cognitive load. In an age of information overload, I believe the concept of a more calming approach to experience will gain traction in the right moments. Focusing on designing interfaces that provide necessary information without overwhelming users, I see this allowing technology to recede into the background when not needed. By minimizing cognitive load and interruptions, a calm UI promotes more mindful and focused experiences, aligning with the growing emphasis on digital well-being and what we know people so often want, simplicity. One really interesting example, when we were concepting the original Cadillac OS, I was reminded of an obscure 1990s option in Saab's called night panel function. The function turned off all interior lights save for the speedometer. It was really, really interesting. It was a simple change, but it was one that created immediate focus and a sense of calm at 70 miles an hour. We took that concept and it was reborn in the Cadillac OS, starting with the Lyric as clean mode, and it is my favorite way to drive the car. Looking back, it's clear that the trajectory of UI design is unmistakably human. It's also clear that we're entering a future where digital experiences feel more alive, more responsive, and more attuned to who we are and what we need in the moment. Our task is not just to keep up with this transformation, but to shape it deliberately, ethically, and artfully. I believe that interfaces of tomorrow won't just be tools, they'll be companions, subtle, intelligent, and profoundly human.